Circuit Court?
No,
Okay.
no. Some potential items before you again. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Hey, mister, do you want a full-size map for variance two for any reason? Okay.
Did you print those here? You've got a plotter?
Our applicant brought it.
Oh, okay.
for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mr. Gonzalez, for variance number two, would you like a full-size map for any reason? There you go. You're welcome. Where are you now?
Where are you deer hunt?
Manton area?
Oh, okay.
You want a big one? Want to see this one?
Yeah, there's cows all around here. I took them like right here. You know, I live right over the hill here and pick them up in the backyard. Matter of fact, I was one crazy thing. I was walking the of course when you grouse hunt, early in the season you hunt woodcock too,
Mm-hmm.
and they're migratory though, so they get out. You know, once the snow starts falling. And I was out walking the dog in the backyard, and right on the edge of the yard there's a woodcock nest. Just right over the hill here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know they'd come that close to the house though, to nest.
Oh, I won't. You made it perfectly clear. Yeah, for the time being.
So that's who was lurking there the other night, wondering. Almost called Preston.
One thing that just for the future that might be helpful, and I don't know if this is something you do or we do, but especially on these lots that are on the lakes that we can't quite figure out, is trying to decide what is the front and what is the side's pretty obvious in a lot of cases, but what is the front and what is the rear? Is this
6:30. At this time, we'll reconvene our meeting and call to order the East Bay Charter Township Zoning Board of Appeals. At this time, I'd like to invite you to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And may we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Matt Cook.
Here.
Paul Gonzalez.
Here.
Carl Slazinski.
Here.
John Ewan.
Here.
And Dave Hausman.
Here. At this time, we'll review the agenda for a conflict of interest. Also, to consider approval of the agenda. Does anybody on the board have conflict of interest or potential thereof regarding tonight's agenda? Hearing none, approval of the agenda, please.
I'll move to approve the agenda of the regular meeting of the East Bay Township Zoning Board of Appeals of May 10, 2022.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the March 8th, 2022 regular meeting. Take a few minutes to look it over. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, wait, I have a couple of corrections.
By all means.
All right. If, on page 3, on the first paragraph there, I believe it said, the second sentence, Lakemore is contending that the number of boats, I think that should not be measured by square footage?
That is correct. Should not.
Should not.
That is their contention, yes.
So you need to input the word "not" in there. Further, on page 5, it has, in quotes, "insert number." Do we know what that number is?
What are we talking about?
Having considered the exhibits, it has "insert number."
I know the square footage, we don't have a certain number.
No, here.
No, of exhibits.
Oh, there's roughly 18. And on that note, there's an insert on there that says if you wish to see any of those 18 exhibits came to almost 800 pages.
Right.
And that's why it wasn't included.
So I'll put 18.
But the 18 is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You need
yes,
to
sir.
have in there. And then on page 6, paragraph number 8, I think you mean a boat, small a boat.
I just want you to know I didn't do this.
Neither one of us did this,
Yeah.
actually.
And where are you on page 6 again?
Page 6, number 8, the Board of Appeals finds that a boat.
Sure.
Okay, got it.
You only get 3 corrections.
Well, this is the same correction, only twice. Page 8, down under number 18, and the underlined findings of fact, again, a boat, rather than one word, should be 2.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, on page 10, under public comment, it has Chair Syke, should be,
Sorry, Dave.
That's an easy one.
I was trying to psych you out.
that's all.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay.
All right, any other changes or amendments?
Now I'll move to approve the amendments, the corrected amendments, corrected minutes of the 3/8/2022 regular meeting.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. And at this time, we'll invite public comment. Anybody in the audience who has any comments not related to this evening's agenda, here's your opportunity to weigh in. All right, hearing none. Do we have any correspondence? Agenda item number 7.
There is, should be in the packet, one letter from Mr. Haggard. Yep, the standard,
But nothing more?
nothing more.
Okay,
Nope.
thank you. And now we'll move on to agenda item 1, variance request by Gary and Patricia Lemon. And where is the legal description, Mr. Taylor?
I guess,
You're gonna have to read it off of
All right,
the newspaper.
we can do that. All right, thanks for your patience. This is variance request 3-22 by Gary and Patricia Lemon, owners on a parcel of land commonly known as 855 Devery Lane, Traverse City. Property identification number 28-03-630-214-10 in the Lakes area, LA zoning district. The request requires a variance from section 505, table number 1, yard setbacks, specifically a 12-foot front yard variance resulting in an 8-foot setback from Devery Lane. The minimum front yard setback for accessory structures in the LA district is 20 feet, and this request is for the purpose of building a 28-foot by 28-foot detached garage. All right. Mr. Lemon or your representative, would you please step up to the lectern and give us a brief of your request, please?
Okay, I guess that's, you have to hit it or anything, you're fine.
You might try the lectern. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's working?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, basically, we had put in for a garage originally that you did approve about 3 years ago, but it was so much going on right then, it just didn't happen, so. But we found out that even getting rid of a lot of personal possessions in the last couple of moves, we still managed to fill up a pole barn, a storage shed down Mayberry that's packed to the gills with treasures, I guess you'd say. And there's not much hope of putting anything. We really like the house we're at now, but it's really was very limited on storage. So we were hoping to build a garage, not only just to get them in out of the snow, cars and stuff, and so that we'd have a place to work on them a little bit. And and the storage was one of our main points though. And basically, we had a couple of pull-down ladder ones, and that, but I'm finding out those are getting a little more difficult as the years go. So basically, this garage stood out for us because it has a set of stairs going up to the second level, and should be everything we need. If we have anything more than that, we better thin things out. So before we were able to move the structure back, but with what was there in the original, it was an old Bel Air, and it was a 500-gallon septic and with a dry well, and we knew that was going to be gone in that. So basically what they approved was is a 1,000-gallon one, soil, the health department over there, and we got that all put in. Luckily, they put it back as far as they did. I imagine my contractor probably, because I wasn't there at the time, and I was downstate, so, but they did put it back far enough. The only thing is, you saw that there is the pumping station over to the field over there and that too, but, and I wasn't aware until I actually saw some of these diagrams that they need a 5-foot space in there, so I was a little worried that we might have to try to move farther if we want to build anything much, you know. We'd looked at a lot of different plans and that, this was a Menards plan that came out, and then we're still talking about using the same contractor if things happen, and Gary. Go ahead, dear, what's his last name? Gary Mott. Boy, don't get old. So, but he wasn't able to be here tonight, he was ill, so usually, last time I had somebody with me, but basically, it's just going to give us a little more room to do things, and that ravine doesn't leave you a lot of options for, you can go down steep on one side or even steeper on the other side, and now you don't want to be, can't be really doing nothing over there with the drain field over in there, so it really pretty much, you know, we thought it all out, but trimmed it back a little bit as far, but we're hoping that there'll be some, we'll get that approved and solve some of our storage problems and keep me out of the snow a little bit, and at least start with the snow blower maybe dry instead of having to clean it first, so. A little more snow up here, I noticed, but although it wasn't bad. But that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions?
I think we're good at the moment. We may have questions as we proceed.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
We'll open this up to the public. Are there any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we'll open this up to the board for discussion and potential action.
Can I give my 2 cents?
Of course, yes, sir.
In your packets, page 21, you'll find a letter that was drawn up by Gary and Patricia Lemon. Because of the size of the structure that was requested, I thought it might be prudent to include a little narrative on why they chose to go for that size of a garage, not just a standard 20 by 20 or something. While I was doing a site visit for this variance, Mr. Lemon asked me to come in and see the interior of the home. I don't know if you guys walked that today, if you went in the home, but both main floor and the basement, it is entirely finished, and I found no storage. There is no storage areas, designated storage areas, other than a concrete tunnel, apparently, that's built in the house that I didn't choose to crawl into and examine. So the lack of space was certainly visible to me. As noted in my staff report, in northern Michigan, I believe a garage is more of a necessity than a want or a wish. And although if you look at the photos included in the staff report of the proposed build, it kind of looks like a little house. I did have conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Lemon that accessory dwelling units are not permitted in the Lakes area, and that was not something that they were considering. It is purely for storage.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I've got a quick question. Page 15 of the packet shows a survey. I'm assuming this is an old survey. Was there an existing sheet metal shed, or is this what was proposed previously? What's the significance of? Okay, so this is an old survey.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay.
I would like to have it be part of the record that I mentioned to Mr. Lemon that it would be to his advantage to have that general area surveyed by a professional surveyor so that the potential building placement matches whatever the township might agree to tonight.
Great idea.
Further questions, discussion?
Just curious, the variance is associated with lots 214, or at least it's requested for 214 and 214A, but the variance is only for 214A, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes, sir, that is correct.
okay.
All right, anything further? Okay, I'll entertain a motion if anybody would wish to make one.
I'd make a motion to approve the variance of 12 feet, I believe, with the stipulation that the survey take place before the building is constructed to make sure it's within the variance.
Thank you.
Do we have to give the special condition on all the basic conditions?
We do.
Okay.
So if you agree, you could determine that all of these are met and that one of these would apply. And that can also be found in staff comments in our packet.
So do I read all these?
No, sir, no need to, just determine if they're all met or not.
Yeah, well,
And at the
they were
end-
all met, I think, in the packet.
That's
So
correct.
that's-
Yes, sir?
And then at the end, you gotta say the special condition in either number 1 or number 2. So this would just say,
Or three.
or 3. But yeah, just say all the basic conditions are met for variance request 322, and plus the special condition being number 2.
So all the conditions
Yeah.
are, basic conditions are met and the special condition,
Or yeah, whatever you want.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Moved and supported. Any discussion?
Do we need to modify the variance request to only be associated with lot 214A?
I would have,
Yeah, all under one anyway.
It is.
Yeah, it's all under one window anyway.
Okay, okay.
Okay, further discussion?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Very welcome. And at this time, we will move on to agenda item number 2, variance request by Bart and Bridget Wilson of 2452 Pinehurst Trail.
There you go.
The property identification number is 28-03-630-214-10 in the, oh, that is not correct.
Should be just below it.
Yes, okay, thank you. So let me start over. The variance request 4-22 by Bart and Bridget Wilson, owner on a parcel of land commonly known as 2452 Pinehurst Trail, Traverse City. Property identification number is 03-590-015-00 in the Lakes area, LA zoning district. The request requires a variance from Section 505, Table 1, yard setbacks, specifically a 6-foot 7-inch front yard variance, resulting in a 23.3-foot setback from Hobbs Highway. The minimum front variance resulting, the minimum front yard setback for a dwelling in the LA district is 30 feet. This request is for the purpose of building a 24-foot by 30.2 feet residential addition to include a lower-level garage. All right,
Sir, can I make a correction on that?
of course, sir.
The variance requested is accurate, and this legal description is 6 feet 7 inches. However, the math is bad, resulting in a 23.3-foot setback. It would be 23.5.
Okay. So it's less non-conforming. Is that correct? My question is, do we
That
have
is
to
correct.
republish?
Yeah, so the actual distance into the setback that they would be is accurate of 6 feet 7 inches.
Very good, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, and Mr. or Mrs. Wilson, would either of you care to tell us about your request, please?
Hi, I'm Bart Wilson, met earlier today at the property. Basically, we want to have a garage, which we do not have currently. Much as the gentleman before me, Mr. Nelson, was saying, you know, it's not really a luxury to have a garage. It's almost a necessity living in northern Michigan. We can't place the garage anywhere else on our property. We're kind of landlocked, if you will. So that's the only location that we can have. And the need for the setback is such that we can actually construct an interior staircase that will meet code and still be able to park vehicles in there. If we don't get the variance, we won't be able to do that double structure, if you will, so a two-bay garage. And that's briefly it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Just a couple things. I was invited into that property as well. You know, a wish for more living area as well as a garage. I didn't take them up on that, but believe Mr. and Mrs. Wilson on that living area confinement and the fact that there is no garage there, which, as we discussed, is more of a necessity than a want in northern Michigan. And then I also wanted to point out that that portion that is going to be in that setback, it isn't the entire addition, as you guys probably saw when you were out there. It's one corner of it that's primarily in that encroaches into that setback, so that's it.
Okay, thank you. And to follow our rules, we need to know if anybody in the audience would like to speak or question anything regarding this variance request. Hearing none, we'll open this up to the board for discussion and possible action.
I guess this is, more of a general question, not necessarily specific to this, this variance request. But I guess as a question for you, Preston, how does this get enforced? So let's say we grant these variances, and we do these quite a bit. How is this validated through the construction process? Is that something you do? Does the county do that?
Once, if, for example, the variance is granted, Mr. Wilson or Mrs. Wilson would have to apply for that land use permit still. All appropriate items would need to be provided in that permit application. And then once construction is completed, I go out and do a final inspection.
Okay.
I have an example of a time that a gentleman received a 7-foot variance to be 3 feet from the side. Well, he built over a 6-car garage. We ended up going to court, he had to tear it down and then build another one.
Okay.
We used to do the inspections prior, just for the footings.
Right.
Which I think we should probably go back to, so in case they do have it in the wrong place, and we're talking about that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, and I figured there was some kind of system of checks in place. I just was curious what that, how that process worked, but, okay.
The person that you were just referring to, Leslie, I don't believe had a professional surveyor on the property, and that's why we try to get the word out.
Yep.
Okay.
Additional questions, discussion, action?
No, I think we looked at it. It looks, in my opinion, looks fine.
Who would like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve variance request 4-22. They have met all of the basic conditions and, let's see if I can, and satisfied condition 1.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Very welcome. All right, and we're on to reports. Can we please have a town board report?
We've got the report. Well, we were in here until late last night,
How late?
11:15, until we kind of shut it down to revisit this later. Yeah, this was you had to be living under a rock to not know what was going on, but it was the GoRec property was the primary driver of the time that we spent. I'm sure Paul can appreciate y'all's planning commission meeting on it, but yeah, there was a lot of public comment, needless to say. So that was the flavor of the meeting. There were some other items. I think we in the consent agenda approved East Bay Ambulance to hire a part-time paramedic, and then we did have some discussion on a zoning amendment related to square footage and combination of uses. I guess some of the new trends around some of these mixed-use developments with commercial and residential, and that's been something that I guess has been a hindrance to some development evidently around the township. So there was a modification of that to move that forward. That was basically the meeting, so.
Cordial at least?
What, the meeting?
Yeah.
Mostly, that hammer came up off the table a couple of times.
That's about the best you can do.
Hey, I got a question, changing the subject. Garfield Township, we don't allow these tiny houses. I don't know, are we allowing that? I don't know if that's town board or zoning, or do we allow those tiny houses that they're like 200?
Not yet.
Okay, that's why I was just curious, because we're dealing with that right now.
Okay.
I digress, it was a tangent.
All right, could we have a planning and zoning report, please?
Yeah, we had a meeting last week, and we had 4 items, one of which was an extension, the Mitten Apartment Development, which is on Town Line Road and Airport, like a little bit opposite the airport. They had put in for, the 2 years, and then they ran into the whole COVID issue of trying to get approvals, and they requested a 1-year extension, which was granted to them. We also had an approval for the Beach View Apartments, which is on 31 or on Munson, on the east side of the state park. There's a strip of land in there, and they're going to be putting in I think a 16-unit apartment. And it was a question about the fire department, but the fire department approved it, so we also approved that. The other item was on Timber Ridge. They wanted to extend their campsites by about 39 to up to what was the original approval limit, and they wanted to put those in, and that was also approved. And then finally, there was just some discussion, no action as yet, on some additions out on the industrial park area. One of the owners there wants to extend out into his side lot for use for his vehicles, which is primarily the wine tours business, or I should say the beverage tour business. So that's pending. So that was it.
Perfect, thank you. And here's another opportunity for public comment. If anybody in the audience would like to speak, here's your opportunity.
Won't take very long.
Okay.
That way you guys will get home before midnight. Anyway, I wish to thank all of you for being here and helping our township citizens live their daily lives. And each of you put in a lot of time. It's very much appreciated. You show up and you've looked through the packages. it's like Paul who's like checking out, you know, okay, these minutes need changed or whatever. A lot of people don't take the time to do that, and so I wish to thank all of you for coming and taking care of all this. And it's only a 153-page packet this evening, but you've had many thicker ones over the last few not semesters, but last few months. I forgot to tell you who I was, Sally Somsel, and I'm at 1717 US 31 North. I normally sit in the back of the room and kind of observe what's going on and trying to educate myself as to what is happening out here in the township. A few times I have been at this microphone this past winter, and your time that you put in is very much appreciated. So, as I said, at the Planning Commission, for the zoning and planning department, they help take care of a lot of stuff that doesn't show up on your plate because they're working behind the scenes. But, so I want to acknowledge that I do appreciate you as well, and I know they do as well. So thank you all again, and I'll shut up and go away. Thank you.
Thanks very much, ma'am. All right, we have, or we do not have, an upcoming meeting date of Tuesday, June 14th, question mark.
Question mark, sir. I don't believe we're going to, but.
Okay,
I've got a quick question.
Of course.
For Preston. There's been a few variances we've approved, I don't know, past 6 months or so. I know one sticks out in my mind was the one at US 31, the hotels. What's the status of those? It doesn't look, I passed by the other day, it didn't look like they'd done really anything. I thought they were supposed to break ground almost immediately.
So the last I heard was that there was, because there's multiple owners in this large development. We're talking Stelling, right?
Right, yeah.
And that there was difference of opinion on some of the retail that should be going in. And there's also a creek relocation that has to take place. And they have been permitted for that, and that work should be, if it hasn't started, should be any day. So I think there's a few fine details that have to get ironed out before that gets started.
Okay. Okay.
all right. Anything further, gentlemen?
Nope.
Leslie?
I'm cool.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Good job, Dave. I got time to fish.
Have fun, have fun.